Now, Prince William has not spoken to his brother Harry for 2 years and would be unlikely to invite him to his coronation if it were to happen in the near future. That is, according to the Times royal correspondent today. The once close siblings have been embroiled in a feud since the Duke of Sussex stepped back from royal duties and relocated to the US with his wife Meghan. Prince Harry further strained relations by making claims about William's behaviour in his memoir Spare, including an allegation that his brother pushed him to the floor during a heated argument. Well, this comes as Harry and Meghan are just completing their tour of Latin America. They've been in Colombia. Let's talk to Chris Shipp, ITV's royal editor. Good afternoon to you, Chris.
Hi, Carol.
Um, are there really, are the state of relations between these two brothers really that bad, do you think?
Oh, where do you start when it comes to these two? Look, they're not good, and they haven't been good for some considerable time. And these aren't two brothers who pick up the phone and talk to each other or even text each other. So effectively, the relationship could not be any worse. And I think the article that you referred to in the Sunday Times today, is exactly right. William and Harry have got this rift. It's got worse ever since Harry departed the royal family and then went and spoke to Oprah Winfrey and then did the Netflix series and then wrote his book and spilled the beans as he did. And that for William was unforgivable. And he's basically written Harry out of his life. And as for this assertion today that William doesn't want Harry at his coronation. I mean, look, I don't know that for sure. I haven't heard that from any source, but I wouldn't be surprised if that was what Prince William is thinking right now. Whether it comes to pass at the time of the coronation, who knows? But I wouldn't be surprised at all if that's how he views his relationship with Harry.
It is really sad whenever our families are riven by rifts like this, and it seems as though Harry's not getting on too well with his father, the King, either. King Charles reported to be frustrated at Prince Harry's battles over his security arrangements.
Yeah, so look, there's a few things with his father. One specifically is what Harry wrote in his book and in the subsequent interviews he did around the book about Queen Camilla and some of the things that Harry said. And his accusations were that Camilla would use the press in order to rehabilitate her own public image, and she would leave bodies in the road in her wake. That was Harry's assertion. Now, doing that to the love of his father's life was never going to go down particularly well, and that's a definite thorn that has not been removed from the king's side. As for the security situation, well, I think a lot of people might be looking across at Harry and Meghan in Colombia at the moment. I mean, look, this is a country that's had its own fair share of security issues and drugs lords and kidnappings in recent times, and they'll look at what Harry said to ITV recently when he said, "Well, one of the reasons why I'm not bringing my wife to the UK is because she's not safe here because of the environment that's been created by the tabloid press following phone hacking and all the rest of it." And they might say, you're basically, the conclusion is what Colombia is safer than the UK when it comes to traveling with Meghan. And I think a few people might raise a few eyebrows at that.
Yeah, and tell us a bit more about that tour because some of the papers have been mocking this false royal tour when, of course, neither Harry nor Meghan are considered to be working royals anymore. What have they been doing in Colombia?
It's a good question. They were invited to attend by the country's vice president. Now, she is the first Afro-Colombian to hold that post, and she thought it was important to invite Harry and Meghan there to try and change the international perception of Colombia, not a country that's riven by drugs gangs and crime and kidnappings, but a country that is vibrant and an increasing tourist destination. That's for sure. But if you look on the Foreign Office website, if you look on the State Department website, so in other words, both Harry's home country and Meghan's home country, they pretty much advise tourists against travelling to many areas of Colombia.
They're their lived experiences with a purpose. There has to be a purpose to it, and that purpose is that unified voice being able to go to the source of the problem and really affect change. Because again, what other people, perhaps they might listen to the parents themselves. And of course, as most of you in this room know, you don't need me to tell you, they don't allow their children to use these platforms, which really says it all, let's be honest. We could probably just leave it there.
Saludo especial a la directora del Centro Nacional. Es un placer y un honor dar la bienvenida a nuestro país al príncipe Harry y Meghan, duque y duquesa de Sussex, su primera visita a un país de Latinoamérica. Comienza hoy en Bogotá, una capital de más de 10 millones de habitantes y que se reconoce como el punto de encuentro de todas las regiones de Colombia. Al príncipe Harry y Meghan, duque y duquesa de Sussex. Estos días que estaremos visitando territorios, dialogando con niños, con jóvenes, con mujeres, con líderes. Gracias por conocer Colombia. Gracias por estar aquí, por la disposición de haber venido a compartir, pero también por tender lazos para trabajar problemas que afectan a la humanidad, como el ciberacoso, la violencia en redes sociales o las discriminaciones.
Sí, sí, sí.